Get started. Welcome everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. We're excited to talk about the Seattle Restored program. So tonight we'll have introductions, a little welcome. We'll talk about Seattle Good Business Network and Shunpike, the Office of Economic Development Funding, the Seattle Restored program overview. We'll talk about the Seattle Restored application process, and then we'll have the last portion of the event dedicated to Q&A and how to get in touch. So my name's Andrea Porter. I'm the program manager of Seattle Made, which is a program of Seattle Good Business Network. Seattle Good Business Network is a 501c3 nonprofit founded in 2010. Our mission is to connect and inspire people to buy, produce, and invest locally so that everyone has a meaningful stake in the local economy. We have a wide range of programs from youth workforce development, local food systems, sustainability, and circular economy, and more. The Seattle Restored program will primarily engage our Seattle Made program and membership. And as the program manager for Seattle Made, I'm really excited to see this program launching. Seattle Made launched in 2015. It's a collaboration of 650 urban manufacturers and producers, makers of everything from chai to candles, bicycles to beer, and jewelry to jam. Just about anything you can physically make in the city of Seattle can join our membership. We have extensive experience running campaigns, including Think Local Seattle and Seattle Restaurant Week. We work closely with partners, including Seattle Met, Visit Seattle, The Stranger, Do 206, and many others. So we'll be working with those partners for this program as well.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Martin. I am the program manager at Shunpike. Shunpike is a nonprofit arts organization that's best known for fiscal sponsorship. We currently work with over 150 arts groups. During the 2008 recession, Seattle was facing a 30% empty storefront rate. To address the issue, the Pioneer Square BIA and SCIPTA launched the Storefronts program, and that worked to put pop-up shops in vacant storefronts. So after a while, that program migrated over to Shunpike. As the economy recovered, the Storefronts program evolved to focus on visual art installations. You may have seen a bunch of our art installations, mostly in South Lake Union. We work with Amazon, but they've also been in Bellevue, Magnolia, Mount Vernon, and Renton. Storefronts has revitalized empty storefronts in Pioneer Square, CID, downtown, South Lake Union, all over, and that is how we got involved in this program. So we are working with the Office of Economic Development, which is committed to building an inclusive economy in the city of Seattle. The funding for this project comes from the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, and all the contracting, communications, just the running of this program is going to be done by Shunpike and Seattle Good Business Network.
So now we're excited to tell you a little bit more about the program. Seattle Restored will activate 25 vacant storefronts and windows with pop-up shops, art installations from local entrepreneurs, artists, manufacturers in Seattle's downtown neighborhoods. So you might want to know why you'd like to participate. Of course, this is an opportunity for direct sales and visibility to your supporters and the public. It's also a funding to support your activations, which we'll get into a little later. There's a connection to prospective landlords and spaces. We'll be professionally photographing and documenting all of the activations and spaces. So this will be great materials for you to use in the future, showcasing how you participated in the program. And as we mentioned earlier, we'll be creating a multimedia campaign through digital, print, radio, transit ads, poll postering, and dedicated profile on seattlerestored.org. So we'll be partnering with lots of folks to get out the word as much as possible. So it's an exciting program to be part of a larger collective. And then of course, we'll be doing individual features on all of the activations as well. So what's involved? Activations include staff pop-up shops, non-staffed art window exhibits, or non-staffed QR code window shopping. So we know that some folks will have a lot of flexibility to be on site and want to engage with the public. And then other folks just don't have the capacity and would prefer to have a non-staffed window display. So we're going to have a nice mix of both opportunities. We're asking for people to activate for a minimum of 2 months. Pop-up space is activated a minimum of 2 days per week if you are choosing to participate in a pop-up. Obviously, for those that are just participating with the window displays, you will not need to have 2 days per week. We asked for a single point of contact for landlords and Seattle Restored staff. We recognize that a lot of people are interested in participating possibly as a collective. So our ideal is to have a single point of contact, but we're also open to hearing other situations. We'll ask you to complete a Seattle Restored contract, but will outline your obligations as well as ours. We ask that you collaborate and be available for space modifications, which could include painting, creating walls, really whatever can be done to create the space to feel like you're ready for a pop-up. So we'll dive into that a little bit later. Allow space to be documented through photography and possibly video. Participate in post-program survey and reporting. And all participants must provide proof of COVID-19 vaccination. This is a program with the city of Seattle, so there is that requirement involved as well. So there's lots of what's involved. So we had a second page. Food producers are able to apply, but there's no commercial kitchens on site at venues. So food must be packaged, possibly limited prep allowed on a case-by-case basis. We're very open to hearing your situation and trying to figure out how we can make it work. If participants are interested in a longer term lease past the program, we'll work to match you with a landlord seeking that opportunity. This is very much a matchmaking situation. So we want everybody involved to be really happy with the activations. So the landlords will have input on the activations as well as the artists and entrepreneurs. So we're really going to try to find the best match for everybody. Both property owners and participants will be able to review Google folders and select top choices. The Google folders will include photos, blueprints, details about each venue. The application does ask you for your preferences, but once we do accept applicants, you'll be able to see a choice of different possibilities of what is available. We'll be providing a robust toolkit to help participants locating merchandising materials, layout concepts, safety suggestions. You'll have extensive support throughout the activation. So we really want everyone to know that's participating. We're going to be really actively involved in working with you and supporting you through this whole journey. We don't intend to just pair people up and then say you're on your own. We're really there to help support you through this whole journey, and we're excited to do that.
So cost is a big question. There is no cost to participate. Seattle Restored will provide participants a fixed one-time $2,500 support. So that'll help, if you are an artist, think of it as money you get for displaying your art. If you are a small business owner, it can go toward anything, equipment, TI, just whatever you need to get your business off the ground. Yeah, and it can also go towards staffing as well. So support will not be adjusted based on size or activation day. So that's a flat fee, $2,500. So whatever it is that you're doing, that is what we're starting with. There are no additional lease or utility costs. We will handle the utilities, and the lease is owned by Seattle Restored. And there is a limited budget for TI, tenant improvement. So we'll be in discussions with you about that if you get a space. And again, Seattle Restored will hold their liability insurance for each property during the activation.
So these are just some pictures. We know it's always nice to see some visuals. So this was a shopping pop-up event for sewn goods apparel through Seattle Good Business Network. And this was an event we hosted at KEXP a few years ago with a selection of Seattle Made members. Again, just we like to show you photos because it's nice to have some visual representation of some of the work we've done in the past. Some smiling members showing off their pop-up shops.
All right, so these pictures are from Shunpike Storefronts program. As I was saying earlier, we started this program over 10 years ago, and it included pop-up shops and visual art displays. So Seattle Pinball Museum, if you all have ever been there, started as a storefront program, as well as Massive Monkey Studio. Both were located in CID. The Pinball Museum is still going strong. Massive Monkey Studio, unfortunately, closed this past year, like many businesses due to the pandemic. And then this is an example of the visual art displays that some of you may be applying to have. This is at the Westlake Center. These are the old Macy's building display windows. One of the great things about this is when things were getting tagged, when things were being smashed downtown the past few years, people left these windows alone because the city and just people in general just really respect art and respect the beauty that it brings. Okay, so let's go through the submission process. There's no cost to apply. Here's the application link. So let's just go through that. I think I had one up. Oh. There we go. So you'll come here. The website is called Submittable. It's useful. A lot of artists use it. It helps us capture a bunch of information and upload big files. So first thing you'll see is just kind of an overview of what we already talked about here. And I'll ask your name, your pronouns, age. A lot of this is just for tracking purposes. We like to know who we're serving, what communities we're touching. Are there any other identities you'd like to share with us? Your email, phone number, and then if you have social media or websites that you want to share. And then at this point is where it will branch off into different things. So we can start with exhibit artwork. So talk about the art you primarily practice, where you are in your career, artist statement. Don't gloss over this. A lot of when the review panel goes over this, they're going to look at, you know, your beliefs, how you approach art, how you approach community, a little bit about yourself. And then for exhibiting artwork, we like to have, you know, a title and kind of a vision for what you want to do. So you have that there, as well as the description. And there's an 800-word limit, so be as detailed as you want so we can better understand, you know, if you need to hang something, is there movement? Do you need lights? Just really paint a picture for people to understand what you're proposing. And then we want to see past work, so title and description, upload a file, and there's a spot for 3 of those. And then this, or I'm sorry, 5 of those. And then the last one is, if you have it, it's highly recommended to have a mock-up or sketch so that they can picture what it is that you're proposing. And then last question, it's not a deal breaker, but if you have a preference for a neighborhood, go ahead and check that off. And scroll back up and choose another option. Okay, pop-up shops. This has a few more questions. What's your business license number? And only if you see an asterisk is it required. So if you don't see it, don't worry about it. How many years have you had your business license? And then right here, describe what your business is. What is it that you want to do in your pop-up shop? Yeah, what are you selling? And then a little bit about yourself. As Andrew was saying earlier, we're doing a lot of marketing, and a lot of what we're marketing is you. So be clear on who you are, what you're about, and it's going to make the rounds in videos, articles, our website. Why do you want to be part of Seattle Restored? Pretty obvious question. And then again, let's see what, you know, we want to see what you're selling. If you sell earrings, if you're selling paintings, it'd be great if you upload the file. And then because these are stores that will be staffed, definitely have to have COVID vaccinations for anyone involved in this project. Again, what neighborhoods would you like to be located in? And this will help us plan things out. So what days of the week you're open, how long do you plan on being open? And this program runs from now until, it'll bleed a little bit into April. So yeah, let us know how long you are prepared to stay open. And this is an important question. What is the minimum amount of space that you need to run your shop? So we're still gathering the different spaces. Some are huge, some are whatever works best for you or whatever you need, please let us know. How soon can you start? It's a question just about equipment, point of sale device. It's okay if you don't have one. That doesn't affect your application. We will provide one for free. And then, yeah, just help us plan things out. What merchandising equipment do you already possess? And what do you need for your pop-up? And this is also helpful. Do you plan on running any workshops or events? It's a citywide event or program. We want things to be exciting. We want to advertise what you're doing. So if you're running workshops or events, please let us know. And some of these spaces are big, so we're wondering if you would be willing to maybe give up a window for an art exhibit, or if you want to take one side of a space and have another business take over another side. And then this is just for our own tracking. Are you a member of Seattle Good Business Network? And if possible, would you be interested in taking over the lease agreement and remaining in the space upon completion of the program? That's really what a lot of this is about. So we want to reactivate Seattle downtown. We want to give business owners opportunities to, give you a leg up to get into a space that maybe you couldn't get into, under normal circumstances. But what we want is for you to continue in those spaces if possible. And then the last path was QR code shopping. So window shopping. So those questions are a lot like the pop-up shop. So you're going to see a bunch of the same things: your business, information about yourself, and then what you're selling. So it's not as involved because it's not a space that we staff. Okay. And we are to the question section.
Thanks, Martin. So we are just going to start to answer now questions as they were submitted through the chat. Feel free to start putting more questions in the chat function. We will try to get to as many questions as we can from now until 6:30. We will be ending at 6:30. So if we do not get to your question tonight, we will definitely happy to respond to emails. So in the chat function, you can find our email. It is seattlerestored@gmail.com. So if you do not get your question answered tonight, please do email us. We have a lot of questions coming in, so we're trying to get to as many as possible. People are curious, will applicants receive a list of addresses for potential pop-up locations? We are still working on confirming all the pop-up locations. So once you are approved as an applicant, we will provide you a list of possible pop-up locations that are available. This may change, but at the moment, we are not going to be giving out the list prior to being accepted to the program. So it's very much going to be a matchmaking process. And I understand it may be challenging to apply if you don't know what spaces are available. But if you find out that you've been accepted to the program and then you find that there's no suitable places, we can certainly keep you, on the list until all 25 spaces are confirmed. And then if you still don't feel like a place is suitable for you, of course, there's no obligation to continue to participate in the program. So it's not that we're not going to just assign you a spot. It's very much going to be in your ability to choose the locations that are available. That said, if anybody knows of landlords that would be interested, we are still seeking spaces for activation. So please send out the website to anybody that you think might be interested in participating. Martin, do we want to just go back and forth?
Yeah, let's trade off.
Okay.
So the next question: when will participants be hearing approval? The first round of review is going to be on January 5th. So try to get, if you want to get started as soon as possible, get your application in before that date. So we'll have a meeting with the community panel, go through the applications on January 5th. So I believe we will be responding and letting people know the second week of January.
And we will review applications again in early February, but if the case is that we've had so many applications and we find that we're filling all 25 storefronts within that first period, we'll go ahead and do that. So if you definitely want to make sure that your submission is in the round for review, I would do so by January 5th. That is going to be your best avenue to make sure that you can participate. The next question was, I have a new business and I'm in process of getting a business license. Can I still apply while waiting for that to process? Yes, indeed you can. That was an easy one, so I'm just going to take the next one as well. Can the art displayed in the storefront be sold? If so, can the work be rotated as sold? Yes, absolutely. There's a whole bunch of different pathways you can take. You can have it just be for display. You can have it be for sale. Really, our primary goal is just to have the spaces activate and have people really come into the spaces and see what you're doing in those spaces. So we want to just invigorate neighborhoods and enliven them. So up to you if you would like to sell the pieces or not.
All right, the next question is there a minimum age? That is a great question. I want to say there isn't, but we need to follow labor laws. So, if you are of a certain age and you have a business, make sure the staffing you have doesn't violate any sort of labor laws. I'll take the next one as well. Is there a list of the size of spaces specifically for pop-ups? As Andrew was saying before, we don't have all of them, but we will create a library of the different spaces, and we'll do our best to matchmake and talk to you to make sure what you are put into works for you.
Can you do both install and pop-up? Absolutely. It would be lovely to see all the windows activated in the pop-up spaces or have art installations within a pop-up. We're really open to kind of any kind of configuration. Again, our goal is just to get people into the spaces and seeing all the amazing work that everyone is doing. So we're very open to hearing proposals that just activate the space in the most full capacity as possible. I think, Martin, I'll just take the next one. Maybe we can take two at a time. What will be the hours? The hours are really up to you. We do want to see spaces activated at least 2 days a week. So we will have some interest in activating spaces that are being able to be activated on a more regular basis. Again, we're just looking to try to see these spaces come to life. So if you're able to be in there 3 or 4 days a week, that is a preference over 1 or 2 days a week. But I will say we're not waiting the application process. So, and again, we have the questions within the application, but we're not making you stick hard and fast to those answers either. So, if you say, I think I can do 2 or 3 days a week now, but then you later find out you can do 5 or 6, like that's fantastic. So put in your best thoughts for what you can do now, but it'll definitely be a conversation as we move forward on what you can actually facilitate.
And I'll just add to that, for art exhibits, they're just up and they will all have lights. So they're essentially open 24/7. So your art will be visible at all times. Okay, the next question. I already submitted my application and wrote a very weak artist statement because it's difficult. Can I rewrite? 1, don't be so hard on yourself. And 2, go ahead and email us. You'll see our email, seattlerestored@gmail.com, and I can reopen that application for you and you'll get a notice. So you can go back in and edit as you like. All right, next question. If I have another line of art that I'd like to add to a group pop-up shop, can I submit another application? How can I connect to other applicants that might want to collaborate? That is a great question. You can definitely have multiple applications if you have ideas for shops, different art exhibits, all of that. At this moment, we don't have, well, actually, no. When you apply, never mind, that question is only for the pop-up shops. We don't have a way right now to connect artists if they want to collaborate on spaces, but shoot us an email and we'll try and work that out for you.
We have a question. If you are not vaccinated, you can't participate, even if you are regularly tested and have a recent negative test. From what I understand through the Office of Economic Development, you do need to be vaccinated. I can double check this for you. So if you'd like to email me, I can connect with the city and check on negative test results as well. I don't want to say 100%, but I'm pretty sure you do need to be vaccinated, but we can double check that. Are there any types of businesses that wouldn't qualify? I hear creative businesses, and you talked about retail and some of the constraints for food programs, but are there any type of businesses that would not be a good fit for the program? I don't think so. I mean, I think really we are concerned for anybody that would want to start any sort of restaurant or serve that would need commercial kitchen access. That's not going to be possible, but otherwise we're very open to hearing any sort of proposals. So if you feel like your business would energize a neighborhood, bring people in, we definitely want to hear about it. So I don't think so. Do we get to keep the point of sale device? Yes, you do. We're excited to have a partnership with Square, and they have generously offered to donate point of sales to anybody that is accepted to the program and would like one.
I think there was a question. I'd like to have an idea of where I would end up. Downtown is a fairly large area. So as we were saying, we'll definitely work with you to figure out what space works best for you. When we say downtown, we're talking in this case about Chinatown International District, Pioneer Square, the Downtown Business District, Belltown, and Denny Triangle. And is there an option to have a collective group of people all making items based on a particular theme? Absolutely. Again, we should have one point of contact as well as one person doing the application. But if you want to list all the people participating in your project in your description and what y'all bring and all that, that works perfectly fine.
Can we do mixed use? Sure. Again, just as long as we're seeing that application and outlined in your application, how would you like to utilize the space? Do you have to live in Seattle to be eligible? No, but you do need to have a City of Seattle business license if you would like to be able to sell items through the pop-up. Martin, is that the same case with the window visual art window displays?
No, that's not.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Can we apply for both the pop-up and the QR shopping? Yes. As we were saying earlier, you can do as many applications as you like, as long as they're different. And is it possible to do a hybrid type thing where people can do a pop-up shop and have a community event happening at the same time? Absolutely. So with pop-up shops, one of the questions we had was if you would have events or workshops. You find that very attractive. It, activates the space, activates the community. And I know right now we are already talking to some groups, who are applying, who are going to have a hybrid. They're going to have like an art collective. They'll have exhibits, but they're also selling items in their space.
How much time will be given between selection and installation? We are on a very expedited timeline. So we would like to see things turn around quickly, but we will work with you to see what is feasible for you. We want it to work for everybody. So it can be as quick as 2 weeks. It could be that you don't start until March. So really sometime between that mid-January to March would be the selection and installation. but we would like to try to get as many activations going as early as possible. Will you be assisting participants with setting up POS systems? Yes, again, with our partnership with Square, we're happy to put you in contact with their team to help assist setting up your payment systems. So yes, we will be supporting that.
Next question, while most of our product is made in Seattle, some is made overseas, does this exclude us from this opportunity? No, it does not. We love our makers, but we are pushing for businesses. So we just want to activate Seattle and help people make a living. So that's totally fine. Would love to host workshops, but don't have a large enough body of work or time to run a pop-up shop independently. I don't quite understand what the question is there. I mean, if you have a great idea for a shop, definitely apply. You can, in the section where we ask about workshops and events, don't sell yourself short. Just write your idea, and it can get made. So I wouldn't worry about that.
I think I can add on to that too. If you don't feel like you can submit an application on your own and you're interested in possibly connecting to someone that is activating a space, we will be facilitating some of that as well. So you can certainly send us an email and let us know that you're interested in being either paired with someone, or you would like to receive notification of anyone that will be accepting applications for a collective space. Is a separate application needed if I can present a proposal for each different type of activation? We'll just need one application per location, and I don't envision us offering one person more than 2 activations. So you can keep all of your activation into one application. Can you have a combine of pop-up shop and queue? Yes, sorry, we already answered that. I see that you are working with your Seattle Made membership. Will preference go to existing members? No, it won't. We have been brought on to facilitate this just because of our experience in working with locally made products and helping with pop-up shops. And the same goes for Shunpike. There won't be preference to those that have participated with Shunpike in the past.
Yeah, I mean, just along those lines, we've referred to community panels a few times during this presentation. They are not on our staff. They are people who have businesses or who, run gallery spaces in Seattle. They're just people who understand what Seattle needs and how, what's involved in creating things like this. Can you submit in January and February? Again, you can have multiple applications if they are different. We also, as Andrew was saying, we encourage you applying early because it's not so much a first come, first serve, but we have limited inventory and spaces. So really encourage you to get it in as soon as you can, and just if they're very different, if you want to do a pop-up shop, but you also have an art installation, that's great. I wouldn't recommend applying with 2 different pop-up shops. And as we were saying earlier, we probably won't give you 2 spots. So you can do 2 applications, but I think it might be beneficial to focus on one idea that you think is great. Please describe the window display and sizes. The spaces vary. For art exhibits, we will definitely try to find windows that have high visibility and large, but they're different spaces. So we will match make your display with what we can find space-wise.
How can CBOs take advantage of these opportunities? I'm assuming CBO is community-based organization. You can apply as anyone else would if you would like to highlight your organization through one of the activations. You're welcome to email us if you have more specific questions around that, but we welcome you to apply. Where are the majority of the spaces? I think we outlined that a little bit before. We do currently have a collection of spaces 2 or 3 in the CID, 3 in Pioneer Square, 1 in Belltown, 2 in downtown. So they're really those 4 neighborhoods. And we are continuing to look to connect with landlords in those neighborhoods as well. How long is the lease? It can be anywhere from 2 to 4 months, and that will depend on what the landlords are looking for as well. So at minimum, we are asking for 2 months from both the participants and the landlords, and that is to be able to facilitate tenant improvement and also have about at least a month and a half of activation time. But ideally, we'd love to see it go longer periods. Again, we just really want to see these spaces activated. So if they're able to go 4 months or even past 4 months, that's great. We are trying to work with landlords that are interested in seeing long-term leases as well, but that's not a requirement of the program. But our long-term goal we would love to see some of these activations turn into long-term leases, particularly for the pop-up spaces. Are we staffing in the space for pop-ups, or is the program you would be staffing the pop-ups yourself? So we will be helping with coordination of tenant improvements, providing insurance, providing marketing efforts, but the store will be, or this physical space will be yours to activate. I think that answers that.
Yeah, just think of Seattle Restart as helping get rid of like startup barriers. But yeah, once you have the space, that is your business. This is an interesting question. Can you use a business license for another type of business for a temporary business due to my business being seasonal? I actually don't know about that. Like, I don't know how that would work logistically. Like,
I guess we can look into that and get back to you.
Yeah.
You can just double check that for sure.
So yeah, whoever asked that question, please email us at seattlerestart@gmail.com. Let's see. When applying for multiple options, window displays, QR code shopping, and a pop-up shop, would we do so via multiple applications? Yeah, you would do so via multiple applications. And what is the difference between exhibit artwork and QR code window shopping? So QR code window shopping is, I mean, it's a QR code. People can go scan it and it brings them to a space where they can shop. That's probably our lowest involved activation. And a window display can have multiple, QR codes. For exhibit artwork, you're essentially taking up the entire space. Early in the presentation, I showed pictures of Westlake. So just imagine, a 6-foot wide window, street level, somewhere in downtown. Your artwork is in that space. It can be sculpture, it can be a bunch of different paintings hanging, all that. So those are 2 very different types of activations.
Next question is, we're very interested in holding a community clothing, upcycle, recyclable, visible mending workshop based on a pay what you can donation. Is this the right format for this type of idea? Absolutely. So activations are welcome to charge by donation or charge by event. Again, once you're in a space, it's yours to utilize. So you are able to sell products, you're able to ask for donations for events, or have a ticketed event as you wish as well. Can a participant use the space for food and art display? Yes, you are welcome to do so. Again, you just would be limited for food on that. It was produced in a commercial kitchen prior to bringing it to the space.
How will theft and possible break-in be handled for retail-based pop-ups, and is security provided? Security is not provided. If you have security, that's your own security, you can definitely use it. And how will theft and break-in be handled? So we will hold the insurance. It's still being ironed out, but there will be protection on your goods and your artwork.
And I'll add to that, we're working with SPU to give us information about the best ways to reach out when you do have any incidences, and also how we will be providing some de-escalation training So you should know that we're very thoughtful and mindful about this. And we're also thinking about, could security cameras be a possibility? And we're open to hearing your suggestions on how we can work with you to provide security. We know it's a concern, so we're definitely open to hearing thoughts and suggestions on how we can support each individual activation. We don't want anyone to feel on their own and not have the security there for them.
How three-dimensional can window displays be? As three-dimensional as you want to make it. The spaces, it's not just for 2D images to be hung on a wall. There is some depth from window to what you would call the back wall. So if you have sculpture, if you have light, whatever it is that you want to propose it. I'd be happy to use funds to hire an assistant for a pop-up, but I don't know any candidates for this kind of work. Would Seattle Restored help with that? Andrew, do you have thoughts on this? As we were saying earlier, you are responsible for staffing your own shop. If you ask us for resources or have questions, we'll definitely answer whatever direct questions you have, but we won't be able to provide you workers.
Yeah, I think we could put out the word on your behalf, but we don't have a group of staff to go to for hiring needs, but we can certainly support as much as we can with trying to get out the word for you. Martin, you probably have more.
I'll take this next one. Yeah. So someone eligible. Okay, let me see. Would someone be eligible for this program if they had done a 2021 Shunpike storefront? Yes, they are separate programs. So, even if you have artwork displayed or will be displayed in a storefront this coming year with Shunpike, you can definitely apply. I would just suggest don't propose the same display. Have something different. And with fiber arts, including quilts, be considered. Yes, very much so.
Next question is, hi, I am not yet vaccinated. Will my application be considered for a pending vaccination? I do plan on getting vaccinated, but I answered no for this on the application. I would suggest that you reach out to us and ask that this question can be amended, and maybe yeah, Martin, we can do that. So please just reach out to us. We do want to see that you're listing that you will be getting vaccinated or you are vaccinated. Also, will we just need our COVID vaccination card for proof? Yes, we'll just need a picture of it. And once you're accepted to the program, we'll follow up asking for those details.
This was asked earlier. Do you have to live in Seattle to be eligible to apply? No, not at all. Next question, can we suggest location to you guys that we've been looking at to see if those spaces can be part of the program? Yeah, yeah, you can definitely suggest spaces. I mean, if you spread the word as much as possible, and if you can think of spaces or entrepreneurs or resources that we can connect with to make this happen, please do. So yeah, just email us and we'll connect with them.
If my understanding is correct, the process will end only when all vacancies have been matched and filled. Yes, that is correct. So it's not necessarily a hard deadline, and we're going to keep continuing, but we are just suggesting that you send in your application by January 5th, because we will have the panel review the first group of applicants on January 6th. I think that answers that. I don't know how to build walls or paint or any sort of handyman work to build up a space. Will the program help with that? Yes, absolutely. We are going to be contracting with folks to help build walls and paint. We don't actually want you to have to do that sort of work. So we will be working directly with contractors to do that work. We'll partner with you and say, what type of walls would you like to put up? What sort of lighting should we look at? So it'll be a collective collaborative effort. And then we will be paying those contractors directly. So that those funds are not part of the $2,500 flat fee. We will have additional funds allocated per venue to help with tenant improvements.
Is the space somewhere I could stay permanently? That is the goal of salary starts. So if you can come to an agreement with the landlord, if you can take over the lease at the price that they're asking, yes, please do take it over. And does Shunpike keep any percentage of the sales? No. If you are selling whatever apparatus you use to sell it, be it a QR code or if you have contact information, that's your business. So yeah, we won't take anything off the top.
Will the hours be set by whom? You will set the hours. Ideally, we'd love to see some activations happening on the weekends, but that will be up to you. Says for tax purposes, how should the $2,500 be classified? Fee for a service, sales of good. We will need to look into that. I do not have the answer for that right now.
Yeah, that was a great question. Okay, would you need a City of Seattle business license for QR code window shopping only? Yes. Right. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, so
just
it's treated
because,
the same way.
yeah, people will be shopping in Seattle. So, yes.
And then if doing events, do they need to be free or can there be a fee? Yes, there can be a fee. These are your businesses, however you want to run your business. Please do. If you have free events, that's great too, but we won't tell you how to run your business. I'll just do this one. Do we get a daily, weekly, monthly parking pass? That has not been worked into the budget. So as of right now, I mean, I'll just say no. The good, bad thing about it these days is that parking has become a lot cheaper recently. So it might be difficult, you know, if your business is located someplace that only has 2-hour parking, but yeah, whatever you can do to get here and stay here, you'll have to work that out. But hopefully there will be cheap parking near your space.
I have a vision for a window art exhibit and some parts will require some painting, but I'm not the best when it comes to painting and drawing. Can you guys help connect me to an artist who is interested in collaborating? Yes, again, we will have a list of folks that would like to participate in some way, but they might not want to host their own space. So that would be just a question that you could send to us by email and we can help facilitate. We can't promise, but we can of course say, you know, these are some folks you could reach out to that might be interested. What email should we send our interest of collaborating or assisting a project to? Seattle Restored at gmail.com.
Yeah.
There.
Okay, is there a max number of people who can collaborate on the same project in the same building? No. I would say do one application and have a single point of contact for clarity and just for ease with working with each other. But if you have a massive collective, it's totally cool. And then what other months in which the windows will be open? If we're talking about just the program storefronts, they will be open from now until end of March, possibly bleeding into April a little bit.
In your experience, do you have insight on what you think is missing, needed in the retail pop-up and public art experience around downtown Seattle? That is a great question. Honestly, it's just the activations themselves. Like we know that a lot of these areas just don't have things happening at all. So we want to try to also create hubs where we have a couple different pop-ups or activations happening in the same area just to really create a sense of community and activation. I have heard that some particular areas are really missing coffee. Martin, do you have any thoughts on this particular question?
In terms of art, I would say just things that pop. What we're doing is we're trying to attract people back to Seattle, you know, so it could be the products we're selling, but also it's just fun to walk a city that's beautiful. So If it's dynamic, if it's colorful, if it's multidimensional, I think that would be a bonus for art exhibits.
Can a 2-month lease be lengthened after the space has been activated? Yes, pending what the landlord and property owner is interested in doing. So that if that is definitely an interest for you, we will want to pair you with a landlord that is interested in continuing the lease beyond that as well. So again, it'll be very much a matchmaking process based on what your interests are and what the landlord interests are. Will the properties vacant on the 4th Ave between Union and University be used, or are they being considered? We don't have connections there yet, so we are very much open to them being considered. We just would need to be put in touch with the right folks. So we are trying to spread our asks far and wide. So please do introduce us to anyone that you think might be interested, or let us know of a space that you think would be great to see activated. We can definitely do our best to reach out to anybody.
All right. Could y'all assist in acquiring the city business license? I think we can definitely connect you with the right people and help you navigate that process. So again, shoot us an email and we'll get you to the right information and the right people to make that happen. And if you get accepted into a space, will you be provided with an estimate of lease expenses for when your initial term ends? Given that I would like to build a relationship with the space, I would hate to accept only to realize I can't afford the normal rent. That's a great question. So we'll be upfront as we talk to the different landlords. We'll get a better understanding of what they would want to see going forward or what their typical rates are, and we'll be very transparent with you about what that is and yeah, the possibility of continuing on the space if you can afford it.
Some people are asking where they can find the application. If you go to seattlerestored.org on the participant tab on that page, there's a link to the application. We will send out after this event a recording of the session as well as links. So we will send out a link to the application, a link to the website and our email address. So we will try to get you all those details in one spot after this informational session as well. I am a small batch coffee roaster and would I be able to use a space for brewing coffee in some capacity if it were roasted and packaged in a commercial space beforehand? Yes, I believe so. I would just need to double check with our contacts at the city of Seattle to see what requirements are needed for that. But if you can reach out to us by email, I can double check that with our contacts at the city and around food licensing requirements. I just want to note we have about 5 minutes left, so we're going to run all the way up till 6:30, but we will cut it off at a certain point. So if you don't hear your question answered tonight, please do just email it to us. We just want to be really respectful of everyone's time tonight and end at 6:30. And we do want to answer all your questions, and we're happy to do so by email.
Yeah, I just pulled up the Get in Touch page, so definitely email us and hit us up if you have more questions. Can designers or artists not named in the original application join an activation at a later date? I would say yes. I would say that the initial application should have that built in, saying that it might be evolving this way, because the landlords also have a say in what goes into their space. And if they agree to one thing and it's continually changing, that might not be, it might not be fair to all parties involved. And please note that artists have relationships throughout Seattle, so it's important to know who is on the panel selecting participants. Will we receive a list of names of people on the panel? We hadn't discussed that. We're still building the panel, but I want to say yeah. I mean, I think we can be transparent, and we'll definitely make it clear to the folks who are joining the panel that they will be listed publicly.
To add to that, we'll be we'll be creating a page on the website to list all of our partners. So we will be putting the panelists on that page, as well as the folks that have worked with us for graphic design and website design and all the different people that are collaborating on this process. It takes so many people to put together this activation. So we really want to highlight all the parties that are coming to the table to help facilitate this program. Are the pop-ups shared spaces, or would we have the spaces to ourselves? It can be whatever you would like to choose. So you can apply to choose to just have it to yourself, or you can choose to apply as a collective, or you can apply to say that you're willing to share a space. So really whatever your interest is. If multiple artists are applying as a group, how would you prefer they fill out the application? Ideally, we have one point of contact fill out the application. There is a PDF that you can download, so everyone in your group could view the questions beforehand, and then you can gather all the materials from those that would be applying in the group, and then one person can submit after gathering the information from the collective.
Does Seattle Restored have a social media page? Maybe we connect, network, and organize there. We do have an Instagram. It is not yet active, but it will be soon. But I believe if you just look for Seattle Restored, it'll pop up, and definitely follow us, and you'll stay up to date on what's going on. Yeah, just information as well as video and pictures of the activations as they come up. If you are a baker, you have to have it packaged and if you are a baker, you have to have it packaged and bake in a conventional oven. Yeah, as we were saying, it is a little more difficult for a project like this to have, kitchens unless the space is already built for that. So if you are going to sell goods, it should be prepackaged, like perishable goods.
Could the artists just be the contractors and do their own walls and painting? No, we'd prefer to work with a set group of contractors that will be doing that work. I can offer more details by email, but we want to be able to work with contractors and tell them this is how many activations they'll be working on. So we want to be able to work and have that done through those contractors. So we have about 1 minute left. So I think we're just going to wrap it up there. If we did not get to your question tonight, please do reach out to us by email. We're more than happy to answer questions by email. I know there's a lot to digest here, but we're just really thankful for all of you attending tonight and for all the exciting applications that I know that we're going to see. So thanks again, and we're thrilled to have so much interest already in this program.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Good night.
Good night.